Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Logix Academy co-taught lesson on Minecraft education. We're looking at the Pacific Northwest Coast world today. My name is Michael Furcano II, and I'll be your behind-the-scenes facilitator. This session was pre-recorded by the presenter, Sarah. So I'm going to get the recording started, and I'll be sharing some information throughout the session via the banners that you'll see down below in the video. And I'll be checking the spreadsheet for questions or answers to our our questions along the way. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Enjoy, and here we go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Logix Academy co-taught session on a really amazing Minecraft world called Pacific Northwest Coast. So we are going to be your teachers for today. My name is Sarah. In addition to being an instructor with Logix, I do a lot of work with Minecraft for a really big museum here in Toronto where I am. And Michael, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. Aloha. My name is Mike Furcano II, and also along with being an instructor for Logix, I'm a K6 design and technology teacher in Honolulu, Hawaii.
All right. So as we settle into our lesson, we invite all of you to reflect on the lands where you are, because even though we're meeting in a virtual space today, we are all meeting from physical places. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge and pay respect to the fact that I'm presenting today from the ancestral lands of the Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, which includes the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, on whose treaty lands I am so fortunate to be able to live and work. And Michael, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, well, I'm coming to you from the islands of Hawaii. I'm on Oahu, so the land of the Hawaiians. And I just appreciate being here and working alongside you today, Sarah.
Amazing. And we're going to be traveling to a very different place from where either of us are today in our Minecraft world. So as we get started, obviously you can see and hear us, but we can't see or hear you. But we do want to hear from you today, and we will be responding to you using our banners in our awesome technology that we have to present to you. And this is how you do that. You can communicate with us. You go to any browser tab and you open it up and you type in bit.ly/logixform2. And you don't have to save it for your one most pressing question or answer. You can use it for any questions that you have for us or any answers for questions that we are asking. And one very important one that we want to test out is, what is your Minecraft experience? So let us know what you have done on a scale of 1 to 10 in Minecraft. Are you totally a beginner? That would be number 1. And are you a super expert? That would be number 10. So students, while you are doing that, we can share our answers. So my answer is usually around an 8 or a 9. It used to be a little bit higher, and then I really started getting into Minecraft and realized that there is so much to do and there is always something else to learn. I don't think I will ever quite be finished. So that's kind of where I put myself. And Michael, where do you put yourself?
I think I'm at maybe about a 6 or a 7. I've been playing Minecraft with my son ever since, well, the pandemic days, since we started. I actually still play on my own. He's kind of grown past it, but I've also used Minecraft education at school in after school classes for a couple of years now as well. But yeah, I feel the same way. It's like I don't know if I could ever be a true 10 because there's always updates, there's always changes, there's so much to do that I know I haven't learned yet. So definitely, yeah.
All right. So now that you are warmed up, here is our plan for today. We're going to do a little bit of an introduction to the world, because this world is a little bit different from worlds that you might be used to just kind of playing Minecraft on your own for fun. And then we are going to go into this world and we're going to do a few little quests to help this village prepare for winter. So this village, or this Minecraft world rather, was actually created with Coquitlam First Nation. And the Logix team worked really closely with them. And one of the really important things about this world, it was actually designed around these principles of learning. And I promise I'm not going to read through every single one, but a couple of them that I really do want to point out. One of them is down near the bottom. Learning involves patience and time. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is doing a little bit of a slow introduction to this world. And I know most of you, if you're playing Minecraft for fun, are used to just running in and punching down some trees and building your tools and gathering everything that you absolutely can right away. But the thing you have to remember about this world that we're going to be visiting is our role in this world is as a guest to this village. And Michael, if I ran into your house and I started punching doors and ornaments that you have and throwing things off of your bookshelf onto the floor, I imagine you wouldn't be too happy with me.
I would not.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about how we use this world respectfully, because the elders of Coquitlam First Nation have given us so many amazing teachings in this world that the way that we can thank them is by using this world respectfully the way that they want us to. So on that note, there are 4 big learning tasks in this world. It actually is going to take longer than we have together. So we're going to be focused on arriving, observing, and exploring. And we are definitely going to be doing some adventures with the salmon. We might even get into Cedar. But once we're done, you'll be able to go on and do some of the other quests as well. And as we head into them, just bear in mind, again, this whole Minecraft versus reality thing. This world is a little bit different from how you might play Minecraft normally. We're only going to be in adventure mode. We're using this world respectfully, which means it's not a place for flying around or TNT or creepers or anything like that. And it's not all about getting all the resources the way survival Minecraft is. You take only what you need, and our goal is to gather knowledge. And then there are a few kind of differences between what you would see in the real world and in Minecraft that they wanted us to call attention to. So you can see in the picture up top, this is one of the welcome figures that Coquitlam First Nation uses. And you can see in Minecraft, they're a little bit bigger. And it's only because it's hard to get that level of detail using Minecraft blocks. So whenever we run into something like that, we'll try and call attention to it. So I think on that note, we are ready to switch over into our Minecraft.
All right, let's do it.
So let me do that. There we go. And there we go. Okay, so we're going to get into our world, and I will go over this twice just in case you need it. But as we head into it, teachers, remember that you are in full control of the pacing of this lesson. We're all in different places on our Minecraft journey, as we've seen from our answer form. And if you need more time, you can always pause the lesson, you can rewind the lesson, you could even come back on another day. So you are in control of the pacing as we go. And to get to our world, we're going to go to where it says play, and we're going to go into the lesson library. Now, for the 1s and 2s in our Minecraft form, any worlds you have already played in will be in My Worlds, but for a new copy of the world, we go into the library. And we're going to go into where it says library, a big red library up at the top. And you are going to go into social studies. And they move these categories around. Oh, they're tricking me. I think we go into history, but if we can't get there, haha, I was right. So you go into history and it's right there. So you can click on it if you found it, and you can create the world and then wait for me to get there and I'll tell you what to do next. I am going to go over it one more time though and show you an easier way if you're having trouble. So we were in library and social studies and history, and then it was a Pacific Northwest Coast. But you can go to the search bar up at the top and you can search for Pacific, which is really hard to type while you're talking. And then you can hit enter and it should call up our world right there. So a Pacific Northwest Coast experience. We're going to click on it and you're going to click on create world. And that is going to load in. Now, depending on your device, this might take a minute, so be patient. Remember our principles of learning. Learning takes patience and it takes time. And here we are. Now, we can see that the village is off in the distance, right? But we're not there yet. And that's because, again, we really want to remember that we are visitors arriving in this village and we want to visit respectfully. So this figure here is going to help us do that. So let's talk to them. You do that by right-clicking or double tap if you're on a Chromebook with a trackpad. And they say, "Hello, travelers. Before you enter the village, you must be welcomed by the CM or chief who is waiting for you on the shore beneath the welcome figures. Take a blanket from the bentwood box, give the blanket to the CM. This gesture will be well received and begin your journey in a good way. Now use your canoe to paddle to the shore." And before I close out the dialogue, there's one thing I want to point out. Michael, have you ever used this button before?
Yes.
So as we go through our world today, we will be reading things for you. But again, there's going to be lots to do after we finish. So if you need a little bit of help with the reading, you can click on this button. It's going to open up our immersive reader. And this will actually read the text for you. Now, if it's just one word, you can click on that one word and you can hear that.
Waiting.
Or you can go to the beginning and you can hear the whole thing.
Hello, travelers. Before
So I just want to make sure that everyone knows that tool is there for you if you need it, because there is a lot of learning to do from NPCs. It's going to be really important that we talk to them and that we listen to what they have to say. So we have an instruction that we have to do before we can go anywhere. Michael, do you remember what the instruction is? Here's a hint.
Oh, that's right. Get a blanket.
Yep, we're going to take a blanket. Now, I used to
Can we
work.
take all the blankets? Can we take all the blankets?
So remember our principles of learning. Take only
Yes.
what you need.
Only what you need.
Yep. So some people might play this world with a small group or a class. So there are more than one, just in case there are more people playing in the world. For today, we're just going to be on our own in the world, but maybe next session you want to join in together in one. And that's kind of what that's for. But we only take what we need. And we have our little canoe, and we are going to use it in just a second. I'm going to put it in the water. But before I begin, I want to look over here. Michael, what do you see?
Is that? It looks like a brown bear.
Yeah. So that's one of the really cool things about this world. There are things in this world that are not in the regular version of Minecraft that you might play. So as we go through the world, we have these tools here that we can use to keep track of things we discover and things we learn. So our camera, if we hold it in our hand and we right click with it, we can take pictures of things. Those will show up in our portfolio, and this will keep track of all of our pictures. So if we make a mistake and we take a bad picture like this one, we can always go into our portfolio just to get rid of the pictures that we don't need. And then as we go through, I'm going to be showing you how to use our book and quill to keep track of the teachings that we're learning. So now we have our tools, we have our blanket, we are ready to head toward the welcome figures over there. So you're going to get in your boat and you're going to aim for the spot in between them. So we right click on the boat or double tap if you're on a Chromebook, and we just use our movement controls to row over to the shore. And you can see there's other boats there, so ours is going to fit in quite nicely over here. There we go. And we can get out. And here are some more friends that we don't usually see in Minecraft. And there's an
You got one flying up there.
too. Yeah. So there are some really cool animals to discover. And again, this was built to resemble the land and the animals that you would see on the Pacific Northwest coast. So one of the things to keep in mind as we go is compare them to the land masses and the plants and the animals that are around where you are, and think about what's the same and what might be different. But we're going to go over and we are going to talk to the CM. Again, we're going to right click, who welcomes us to the traditional territory of my people. We've been the caretakers of these lands for millennia. Thank you for the beautiful blanket. You may place it in this bentwood box. Okay, so we're going to put our blanket in there. On your journey, remember to always be kind, take only what you need from the land, and give thanks. Always leave enough for others and for those who come after. So that's a really important note. We are part of a community, not just of people, but of the animals that are sharing the land as well. We have to make sure that we leave enough for them too. Then we're going to go to the big house to meet an elder who will invite us in. So we're going to leave our blanket. There we go. Okay. And let's take a picture just so that we can record where we are. I'm going to try again. There we go. And in my book, I'm just going to write down what we have done. So in our book, you hold it in your hand and you right click, you have a choice between pictures and words. And if we click on the picture icon, we can choose any of the pictures we've taken. So I'm actually going to choose this one. And I'm just going to write down what we've learned so far. So we met the CM and we learned to be kind, take only what we need. And do you remember the third thing?
Did we share the blanket?
Mm-hmm. So always leave enough for those who come after. Also, blankets are a way of showing gratitude and respect. All right, I think that's pretty good. Does that sum up what we've learned so far, do you think?
I think so.
All right, so we can leave our page there. Now, if you're not finished this page, it's absolutely okay. You can pause the lesson or you can come back to the book later to fill it in. So one of the things that's really neat about this world, I've done this world before with my friend Taya Windancer, who's from Nuu-chah-nulth First Nation, who's in kind of the same area. And the way that she said a lot of the Indigenous nations in that area learn is by hearing stories over and over again. And the cool thing about these NPCs is you can come back and you can hear what they have to say over and over again until you remember it. And then a lot of us, like me, I need to write something down before I remember it. So the book lets us do that as well. And then we can come back to our book to get those teachings over and over again. And at the end, we're going to show you how you can take your book out of Minecraft so you can have it with you all the time.
I have a quick question for you, Sarah.
Yeah.
Does the immersive reader work on what you've written yourself?
Yep. So that is actually a really good point. I know some people are very concerned when they're writing in the book about getting their spelling right, and they're not sure if the words are right or not because there's no spell check in here. But a really cool trick is if you use the immersive reader, if you spell the word wrong, it'll read it wrong. So it's a really good way of checking if you've gotten your words correct or not.
That's great.
Yeah. All right. So let's head over to the elder. We're not just going to barge into the big house. We have to be invited in. So we have to talk to the elder, who says, I am an elder in the Siam's family. Inside, you'll find my relatives. They are wise elders who will have a task for you to help us prepare for winter. Listen and learn from them and thank them for their teachings. So this is another really important point. Teachings are very, very valuable, and we are grateful for them, and we want to give something back in return. So what we're doing in this village is helping prepare for winter, and we're going to learn all kinds of really cool skills that are going to help us with that. So let's head in. And there are so many people to talk to in here. And again, we're definitely not going to get through them today, but we are going to be talking to the elders who are kind of down this first line right here, because they have some of the bigger quests for us. And I'm going to talk to the Cedar Elder, and I'm going to point out something really, really important that it's absolutely important that you listen to if you don't want to get really frustrated later. So if we talk to the Cedar Elder, and I'll read what the Cedar Elder says in just a second, but you can see that there is a button down here. Do not click on that button. So we will be encountering a lot of buttons. Some of them are blue, some of them are gray. The blue buttons are safe. We can click on those no matter what. But any of the build buttons will actually take us to another task that we're going to do after we complete some of the big tasks in here. But here's the thing. We are keeping all of our really good information and knowledge in this book. And I've had students who spent hours and hours and hours writing in this book. If we click on that gray button, it will take us to the creative space, but that book will be deleted when we come back. So never, ever, ever click on the gray button until your book is placed someplace safe. And the first thing we're going to do is actually make some place where we can put our book so that we know it's safe before we click on any of those gray buttons. So gray buttons, don't click on them until I tell you it's safe. If you remember nothing else, remember that. All right. And then we can go back and we can talk to the cedar elder, who tells us the cedar tree is the heart of the coastal peoples. We call it the tree of life. The cedar tree gives us shelter and transportation, tools and clothing. It also keeps our history alive. Follow the trail past the smokehouse to the forest at the end of the lake. So that's really important. Just like in real life, if I go out in real life, there's no quest markers telling me where I have to go next. I have to learn the land or listen to directions from somebody who knows it. So we're going to follow the trail past the smokehouse to the forest. Find the cedar forest knowledge keeper who will teach you about the tree of life. Okay, and here's our task. Bring back 1 strip of cedar bark and 1 cedar plank. And I'm going to put a little note on this one because this is actually meant to be done as a full class. On our own, we need 8. So when we return here, cooperate with others in your group if you're playing together to create a bentwood box. So we are going to need 8 planks. And then we are going to create this box where we can keep our book as we go on our adventures. All right. So, Michael, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So we're going to leave the big house and we're going to keep going straight. That's the smokehouse right there.
Okay.
And remember, our instructions are to go past our smokehouse.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to keep walking and we're going to follow the trail. So as long as you keep your eyes on the trail, you won't get lost. I've been in this world a lot, so I know my way around, but it's really easy to get turned around if you're not careful. Because again, just like real life, there's no signposts. And I am going to pause right here because we have this really cool structure in the water, and it might be a little bit hard to see, but we have these 2 little animals over on the shore. And Michael, based on that, this little kind of wooden stick structure in the water and those animals over there, can you tell what we're looking at?
Possibly beavers?
Yeah. There are not usually beavers in Minecraft. So this is probably one of those really cool details that give us some local animals that would actually be around.
That's really cool.
All right. So on our right is this cool flower field, and that's from one of the other lessons that you might do on your own when you're done with us. But here is who we're looking for. We found the cedar forest knowledge keeper, who tells us the cedar tree was once a kind and generous man. The transformer changed the man into a cedar tree for him to continue giving to his people. Before we take any of the cedar's gifts, we always give a small offering of thanks. We only take what we need, making sure to harvest in a way that won't hurt the tree. If we take care of the cedar takes care of us. So we have to keep following the path to find other knowledge keepers to learn how to harvest with respect. And we have a tool to help us. All right, so let's take a picture and let's write down what we just learned. Okay, so there is our knowledge keeper. And we learned that cedar is a generous tree that was once a man and can keep giving to the people. It's important to take only what you need. All right. Is there anything else that we learned that I'm forgetting?
We have to leave a small gift.
That's right.
A small offering.
Leave something in thanks. We don't have anything yet, I don't think. So let's actually, we'll borrow one of these. I'll replant that one. And I'll take that one with me. There we go. All right, so now we have some gifts we can give.
I love how you replanted it before you left.
Always very important. Okay, so let's follow our path. And I can see the knowledge keepers up ahead. All right. So the cedar bark knowledge keeper tells us that the inner bark of the cedar is an amazing fiber. We can use it to weave baskets, nets, clothing, mats, and so much more. I harvest from small cedars like this one behind me when the warmer weather comes and the sap starts to run. Before I harvest, I thank the tree for its gift. Starting at the bottom, I pull a strip of no more than 2 hands wide. This won't hurt the tree. It will heal itself and continue to grow and thrive. I pull up to the branches. So we have to look for 4 tall, thin cedars, and we're going to use our adze to take 1 piece of bark each. And I think, if I remember correctly, we can get away with only taking 1. I don't think we need all of the bark for this task. So before we leave, remember what I said about the colors of the buttons? Blue buttons are safe. So these buttons, sometimes we'll go to these ones, sometimes we won't, because we only have a limited amount of time today. But these buttons are really, really important because what they are links to the real life knowledge keepers who can share more about what we're learning. So you can really get a lot of information. So if we look at this one, I'm going to just play the first little bit because they're usually a little bit longer than we have time for, but let's start this one and let's see what they have to say.
Look, good morning, everyone. My name is Lorinda McKay. I'm here today to speak about the importance of cedar to First Nations people. Cedar has always been a very big part of our lives. It gave us homes to build wood to build longhouses. We used it for started using big trees like this to build canoes for traveling. Cedar has given us many, many different things. We use it to carve poles. It gave us furniture. It gave us utensils, household utensils. It gave us bowls. One of the major products of cedar in trade were the bentwood boxes.
I'm going to pause us there because the bentwood box is what we are going to be creating. But you can see we're not going to watch the full 9 minutes today, but we really encourage you to go back and revisit the teachings from all the knowledge keepers. And I really do love that one because it really gives us a sense of the respect for these trees. So let's see, I'm just going to review really quickly because again, there's so much information here. And we're going to write down what we learned before we forget. Okay, so we're going to go to the new page in our book, and I'm going to get that picture of the tree. So, so much to remember.
That was a lot.
It is a very important tree that can be used for so many things, like furniture, houses, canoes, and weaving textiles. It's important to harvest when the sap is running. Take only a strip 2 hands wide from bottom to top. Oops. That's where Immersive Reader can come in handy. It helps you know when you've forgotten words too. Okay, how's that?
That sounds good.
Okay. And if you run out of space, you can turn the page and type more. I know just from experience, I'm at about as many words as we can fit on one page. But, all right, so we have to find some tall, skinny trees, and we are going to take some of the bark. And what we will do is we will leave our camas as thanks. And you just do that by pushing Q to drop it. And we will take from bottom to top our one piece. All right. And we can always come back if it turns out we need more, but I don't think we do. And then we can go on to the next knowledge keeper, who tells us that the largest trees give us the gift of cedar planks. We use an adze, okay, we have that tool, to harvest planks from the ground up to the branches, like in this tree behind me. We cut and split the plank from the tree in a way that allows the tree to live on. So we're going to look for trees where the bark is already stripped, and we're going to take planks. And remember, we need 8, but we're not going to take any more than that because we take only what we need. And there's a blue button, so that one is safe. And that one will let us learn more about the cedar trees and about making bentwood boxes. So again, we don't have time to watch all of these today, but I do want to show this one because I think it gives us a really good view of these trees that have been used for
and provided limited protection to them when properly identified. These uniquely altered trees are growing all around us on Vancouver Island. Red cedar trees.
So you can really see that even though you're harvesting from the tree is still growing. These are very, very old trees. So let's head back over into our Minecraft and let's make note of what we've learned here. Okay, so we're going to add our picture. There we go. To harvest planks, look for large trees because you don't want to take from trees that are too young or that will hurt them. Large trees that have had bark strips. Take only what you need so the tree can continue to grow strong. All right, is there anything else that we missed?
I don't think so.
And if you missed anything, you can always come back, or when you've watched the videos, you can come back and add more. All right, so let's see. We need, this one's already been harvested, so we need a tree where the bark has been stripped. Oh!
I see one past the water there.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get our adze. And let's go to this tree. We're going to harvest from the bottom up, and we're only going to take 8 planks. And I'm actually going to try to start with the second one just because. 2. I'm going to try and jump. Ha!
That was smart.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And that is all we need. So we are going to leave our camas for thanks for the tree. And we are going to head back to the big house so that we can go to our next step. So just when you look around, look for the welcome figures. They are kind of the way that we find our way back home. And it's by the pond as well. So in another lesson, you can go further down the path. There is more to learn down there. But for now, we're going to head back. And we're going to keep our camera so we can keep track of any interesting things that we see as we go. Like, I see a friend over here, and that's not usually in Minecraft either.
Oh.
All right, Michael, do you know what this one is?
Oh, it's not a deer.
It is a deer.
Oh, it is a deer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we have another friend over here who is a Minecraft friend, but I love them. We have our little bees.
I think I saw a hive in the trees there too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and there's another friend over here too. See what this one is? Yeah. All right. So let's head back. We've got our beautiful bald eagles flying overhead. I love them so much. Okay, and we are back at the big house. So if we review with the cedar elder, and remember, don't click on the gray button, we are going to have to create a bentwood box. So the way we do that is we go to this right here. And if you are a Minecrafter, you know what this is. This is a crafting table. And we're going to right click on it. And we are going to make our bentwood box. And the way we do that is we take our 8 planks and we place them all around the edges of this little box in the crafting table, and we leave the middle open. And that is how we are going to get our bentwood box. So now we can take our box over and we can put it next to the bark weaver. And we can keep all of our important things that we gather in here. So we can keep our cedar bark in here. And we can also talk to the bark weaver if we want to learn more. So we're storing the cedar bark that we harvested in there. The bark weaver can also use the soft inner bark to weave so many things, from cedar mats to cedar hats. I can even weave a basket so tight that it can be used to carry water. Isn't that cool? All right, and you can incorporate other barks to create different multicolored patterns, which is so cool. So there's actually a basket there that we could use too if we want to do more things. And again, if you want to learn more about that, we can click on this button. We're going to hold off for now because we do have some other tasks that we want to do, and they might take us a little while longer. So what we are going to do is we are going to go down a little ways and talk to the salmon elder. And the salmon elder tells us that salmon is our main source of food. Everyone helps in the process. Fathers catch the fish, mothers prepare, cook, and preserve the fish, and children help their parents. So here's our task. We have to go to the river and find the gill netter. You'll need to catch salmon, take it to the smokehouse, and then bring a smoked salmon back for here to be placed in this bentwood box for storage. And again, there's a gray button. We're not going to push it or we'll lose all of our notes that we've taken. But we are going to go back out and we are going to follow the same path that we did before, but where the path branches off and goes around the lake, we're going to go in a slightly different direction. So we are going to go to this side of the lake this time, so we can get a little bit of a better look at our friends over here while we are at it.
I was going to say, maybe we can get a better picture. Yeah.
Those are our beavers. And we're going to cross this little bridge over here. So if you're having trouble finding it, there is our little pond with the beaver lodge in it. And it's just on this side of the pond. You'll be able to find a little bridge going over the little river stream right here. And look in the water.
Wow.
That's a lot of fish. Okay, we have some learning to do. So let's talk to our gillnet knowledge keeper, who tells us in the spring, the salmon people return to their traditional spawning grounds. We greet the first salmon when it arrives. We prepare its body with the greatest care and respect. After eating the salmon, the bones are carefully returned to the water so that its spirit can return again. So that's really important. So I think before we watch the video, let's write that down so we don't forget. So we're going to add our picture. You don't have to add the picture, but I always find it helps me remember where I was and what I was doing. And we'll review if we need to. So in the spring, the salmon come back. All right, so let's record what we learn. Caught is very carefully prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Did I get it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And before we catch a salmon, let's learn a little bit more. And again, we're not going to watch the whole thing because I know they can be a little bit long, but we can learn a little bit right now.
We're on Coquitlam First Nations territory, and today we're doing some dip net fishing on the Coquitlam River. Coquitlam means red fish. Many years ago, there was sockeye salmon that used to come up and down this river, and today we're fishing for chum salmon. The season that we fish for chum is in the fall, so in the colder season. Not that one, but I got it. Let's see.
Okay, I think that's where we're going to leave that one. But it was a really neat look at how there are lots of different ways to catch the salmon. And I think we have time to check out one of them as well. But for now, we have some spears that we have been given. And this is one example of Minecraft versus reality. In Minecraft, we don't actually have anything that works as a net. And that's why we're going to be doing a little bit of spear fishing to get our first salmon. But the really cool thing about these nets is they're really, really cleverly made. The holes in the nets are just the right size that the little fish can get through, the ones who aren't big enough to be caught yet. It catches the medium-sized fish that are just the right ones, and the holes are actually too small to catch the big fish that are going to be the parents for the next generation. So it's a really, really cool net. Let's use our spear to catch a fish. So I am going to hold down my right click, and I'm going to get a good fish, and we got it.
Nice shot.
Thank you. Now, sometimes when you catch this fish, you will also get some bone meal. And if you do that, it's actually a really good opportunity to return the bones to the river, just like we learned. So I don't have any bone meal. I'm going to return the spear instead. But if I had the bone meal, I would return the bones to the river. And now we have our salmon. So we can keep going back to our smokehouse to complete our task, but I think we have time to check out one more thing. So I am actually going to keep following the river, and you can follow with me because, as we saw in the video, there's more than one way to catch a salmon. So we're actually going to learn about one more. And to do that, again, we follow the river around. And if you're having trouble with the hills, you can just swim. That works too. But look at all the salmon. There is so much salmon here. And there is somebody who is very hungry and wanting to catch some of the salmon. Our little fox right there.
Beaver and a fox.
Mm-hmm. And this is where the salmon will kind of jump up the river. So I'm going to try and get myself onto the shore and get up this hill, because over here we can actually learn about another way of preserving our salmon. And actually, there's a knowledge keeper up here that I missed. So let's talk to him first. And that's what we just saw. That is the dip netting. So this knowledge keeper tells us that the family has fished from these rocks for thousands of years. I use my dip net to scoop up the salmon as they swim up the river. I take only what I need for my family. We wind dry the salmon right here in the canyon. Can you think of why my family chose this spot? That's a really good question. So while I take a picture of it, friends, maybe if you have ideas, you can put them in our form. And Michael, what do you think?
Well, it looks like the water's flowing down the river. So maybe it prevents them from going any further to kind of collect there.
So it is tricky for a lot of fish to get to this point because it is like a little tiny waterfall. And what salmon will do is actually jump. They're often known as salmon ladders. And so when the salmon are jumping out of the water, that's a really good time, if you're good with your net, to be able to catch them. Okay, so let's write that down. You can also catch salmon with a dip net. Here, where the salmon have to jump to get upriver. Good place to catch them. All right. Are we missing anything?
I don't think that's a good explanation.
Okay. And then we can talk to this elder who tells us that these salmon that are caught by the dip netter are hung up where the hot summer wind that comes through is perfect for drying and preserving the salmon. So the head and the bones are removed, and then they're cut into strips, and then it takes days for the salmon to dry, and they have to guard the drying hut just in case a bear comes for a delicious snack. If you look down the hill, do you see it?
Uh-oh.
There is a little bear there. So let's take a picture and let's make some notes. And we're going to add, we're getting so many pictures. In the summer, you can wind dry salmon in the canyon. Someone has to guard the hut to make sure hungry bears don't come for a snack. All right, how'd I do?
Sounds good. Sounds like a dangerous job, too.
Yep. Okay. Now we know that we're helping the village prepare for winter. So it may be too late for our salmon that we caught to be prepared in this way. So we are going to head back to the smokehouse like we were told to do. So there's our wayfinding. I can see one of the welcome figures over there. So we're going to head toward it, past the bear. Bear's just being a bear. We don't bug the bear. The bear won't bother us. So we be respectful of those who are sharing the forest, and we go past. And that's, again, why we've taken only what we need. There might be some foxes or some bears who get hungry, and they're going to have the other fish that we left behind. And if we head down our path, we're going to head toward the welcome figures. But instead of going back to the big house this time, we are going to go over here to the smokehouse. And we can see there's some fish out front. And if we go in, we can talk to the knowledge keeper. Now, I know our expert Minecrafters are going to say, oh, there's a campfire. I can just put my fish here and I can cook it. But before you do that, remember, we're helping the village prepare for food that they're going to need all winter. And there's no fridges here. And Michael, if I just cooked a salmon and then left it on my counter for several months of the winter, what would happen to that cooked salmon after a while?
It would rot and get gross. It'd probably start to smell.
So, yeah, you can cook salmon if you want to eat it right away. But if you want to preserve it for the winter, you're going to have to either dry it like we saw in the canyon or smoke it like we are going to learn about from our smokehouse knowledge keeper. So we are going to put our salmon in the racks, and after 3 or 4 days, the salmon will be smoked, which preserves it for up to a year. And then we're going to take one salmon that's done, because we don't have 3 or 4 days to wait for our salmon to cure, and we're going to take that one back to the elder. And this video, I know, is a really, really long one, so we're not going to watch it together today. But I highly recommend that when you have time, you come back and you watch it, because it goes into all of the details of how the smokehouse works, and it's really, really cool. I think it's about 10 minutes long, though. So let's put our fish in one of the racks, and we are going to take one. And we're going to record what we learned. All right, and new page. There we go. And down to the bottom. There we go. Okay, to preserve a fish for up to a year, we can cure it in the smokehouse. 3 to 4 days, the fish will be preserved so it can last a long time. All right, how'd we do?
Good.
Great. Okay, so let's take our smoked fish and we'll head back to the big house and we will give it to the salmon elder. So we're going to go all the way over there and we're going to put it in this Benwood box. There we go. And we help the village. All right. Now, the final thing that we are going to do is we are going to be using that gray button. But before we do that, we're going to go over to our box that we made and we are going to make sure that our book and quill is in there. Our portfolio is fine. It'll remember all the pictures we took. Our camera's fine. But everything else that we have, we will lose when we come back. So anything you want to keep, especially the book and quill, you do not want to lose all your work. Put that in our Benwood box. Then we can go back to the salmon elder, and I'm going to get you to check one more time. Make sure that book and quill is not in your inventory. It's not hiding out anywhere, because I don't want anyone to lose all of your hard work. I speak from experience. It's very sad when it happens. Now we can go to the salmon elder and we can click on the gray button because each of these tasks has a little bit of a bonus quest. So our bonus quest here is to try and remember what we learned to build our own gill net across the river and then fill the river with salmon. So now we're in creative mode. You can see we have no hunger bar and we have access to all of the blocks in the game. So let's get ourselves some cedar and let's get ourselves some net. So I'm going to use cobweb because it's a really, really good solution. And I'm going to need something to connect our floats, I think. So I am going to use chain, because I think that's a really fun way to build. You can use whatever you want. This is your time to be creative, but also use the teachings that you've learned so far. So what I'm going to do, and also remember that you can pause. So we don't have a lot of time left. I'm going to build maybe a little bit faster, but you can always come back to this task later, or you can pause and take as much time as you need. But I am going to make some spaces in between these little planks, and these can be my little floats now. That's good. And I'm going to connect them up with these chains so that they are stuck together. And then I am going to make some cobwebs underneath to be our little net. Now, as we are building, I hope everyone remembers the really neat thing that we learned about the size of the holes in the net. Michael, do you remember?
Yeah, they're made to fit the certain size fish that we need. Just allows the specific fish to get through. And it protects the other ones.
And this is why. So this is, again, another really good example of Minecraft versus reality. So in our Minecraft world, we learn a thing and then we go out and we're just doing this right now. We're building our net, we're doing some fishing and all that fun stuff. In real life, you would never just kind of hear something once and then go off and do it yourself. You would hear it many, many times, and you would go out with a knowledge keeper until they are satisfied that you are ready to do it on your own. Okay, so now we're almost ready to put our fish in. But before we do that, there's actually one little thing that I want to do. And I'm going to show you, friends, a really fun Minecraft trick. Because I have done this before, and when I put all of my fish in, so many that looks like you could walk across the fish to cross the river, they swim away. So I'm going to show you a Minecraft builder's trick. And what we're going to do is we're going to open up our chat by pushing T or enter, and you're going to type /give @s barrier. And if you need to pause here or rewind so you can get this command. But this is going to give you my favorite builder's block. This block, I'm going to take the narrowest part of the river and I'm just going to start filling it in with this barrier. And you're probably looking at it right now and thinking, Sarah, have you lost your mind? That is the ugliest block I have ever seen in Minecraft, which it is. But it does a really, really cool thing when you are not using it in your hotbar. So I'm basically just making a wall of these barriers. Trust me, it'll be cool when it's done. And I'm going to get them up to the top of the river. Oops. There we go. And there, and there. And there, and there. And a couple more. Okay. Now, watch what happens when I take it out of my hand. Boop. So there's still a wall there,
Cool.
but it's invisible. So this is going to keep our salmon in place. And that is my builder's trick to share with you. So now we can make our salmon. So let's get our salmon spawn egg. And we're just going to spam the salmon everywhere. So we have lots and lots and lots and lots of fish in here. Whee! All right. What do we think? Is that enough salmon?
I think so.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure our student friends will find more salmon than that.
And we can see our barriers working. It's keeping the salmon in place so that we can take a picture of our good work. And when we get back and we retrieve our book and quill, we can write about it. So to get back, you are going to talk to the salmon elder and return to the village. And you can see, this is what I was warning you about. The book here is empty. But if we go back to our box, I'll put the empty one in here and I'll take this one. There is all of our hard work. So what you can do now is you can write about what you built and all of the things and all the teachings you remembered in order to build it. And the last kind of thing that we're going to do is I'm going to show you what to do when you are completely finished your book. So don't do this step yet because there's still lots to do in this world when we say goodbye. You can keep going and learn more things. But when you are completely finished, what you can do is click on sign. And this is, again, when you are completely done, you will not be able to write in your book after you do this. Although you will have a second book if you need another one. And we can call this one, let's call this one My Journey. And we can sign it. Once it's signed, see how it turned purple and shiny? We can't write anymore, but there's a new button that says export. And we can use this button to save our book as a PDF so that we always have access to this knowledge. And if our teachers want to see what we've done, then they can take your PDF and they can see everything that you learned from this world. So that is about all of the time that we have today. Michael, what did you think of this world?
It's amazing.
Isn't
I
it?
was blown away, especially with all the unique the unique animal characters that you don't normally find in Minecraft. I thought that was really cool.
It's such a fun way to learn, and I am so grateful to the elders of Coquitlam for sharing this knowledge with us because I always learn so much every time I am back into this world.
I have a quick question for you, Sarah, about the book after you sign it.
Mhm.
If you were to do that and then go tap on one of the build options, do you lose that book? Is it important to put that book back
Yes.
in the box?
Anytime you go to build, when you return, you will lose everything in your inventory and it will give you a new camera and book and quill and portfolio. And the portfolio doesn't matter because it will always remember every picture that you've taken. But the book, each book is unique. So if you take a book with you, you will lose it. Okay. So always store anything you want to keep in your Bentwood box. Do not take it with you when you go to one of those special build sites. All right. So again, there is more to do in this world. There is the plant quest that we still haven't done yet. And if you talk to the other elders in the big house, there are lots of smaller quests to do, like looking for the clam garden and going and finding one of the pit houses and learning about storytelling. So we strongly encourage everyone to continue in this world if you can, if you have time. But of course, you're going to connect with your teacher for what to do next. And on that note, we are going to say thank you so much, everyone. Michael, do you have any final words for our friends?
Aloha and mahalo from Hawaii. Thank you so much, Sarah. That was an amazing lesson.
It's so much fun. Thank you for taking the journey with me today.
Of course.
All right. And thank you, friends, for following along with us. We hope you learn lots more amazing things, and maybe we'll see you at the next Logics lesson. Bye, everyone.